Hi my dear students, welcome back to Gurudev online classes. Today in this video let us learn about the chapter of the chemistry class 8, that is the materials. This is a new chapter of chemistry, materials, metals and non-metals. It means metals and non-metals, these are the materials. So many kinds of the materials are present in our surrounds. That materials are divided into different types on the basis of the appearance. Appearance means that materials are how to look that is the appearance. That materials are shiny, that is the appearance. Materials are dull, that is the appearance. That have the different shape, that is the appearance. That have the different color, that is the appearance. Appearance means it shows the color, size, shape and shiny, dullness. These are the appearance. Okay. For example, this board looks like a green color. It shows the shiny. No, this is the dull. But because this is a one material, some materials are shows the shiny nature, that materials are separate, we can make into separate group. Okay, which materials are shows this shiny nature, that makes the one type of the materials. Which materials are shows the dull nature, that we can make another one separate group. Okay, some materials are very hard, some materials are very smooth. Very hard materials are separate into one group, very smooth materials are separate into one group. Okay, these are divided into two groups, hard and shows the shiny nature, that is the another one separate, and smooth and shows the dull nature, that is make another one group. Okay, observe, I can in the different materials are present in our surrounds. That materials like aluminum, iron, copper, etc. and so many materials are present. That materials are like the iron, coal, sulfur, aluminum, copper. Okay, these are the materials. I draw one table. That first one column is the object, that is those are the iron, coal, sulfur and aluminum, copper. That second one column is the appearance. It means that iron appearance, shiny nature, it shows the shiny nature, and iron's hardness is the very hard. This iron is the very hard, and coal, this is the dull and this is not very hard. Sulfur, this is a dull, this is not very hard. Aluminum, it shows the shine and this is a very hard. Copper, it shows the shine and this is the very hard. We can group into two types. That coal and sulfur, this is the dull nature, it shows the dull nature. Coal and sulfur, it is not very hard compared to other materials. Okay, these two materials are separate into one group, and another three materials are separate into one group. Why? Because of the three materials are shows the shiny and very hard also. It's have the some similar characters. We can make into another group. Okay, these are the materials. Okay, observe here. On the basis of the, now I am saying this is the metals, this is the non-metals, this is the non-metals. Aluminum is the metal, copper is the metal. How can I say this iron is a metal, coal is non-metal, sulfur is non-metal, and these are the metals? So how can I say? Yes, I can say easily distinguish between on the basis of the physical and chemical properties. I say now this appearance and hardness, these are the physical properties of the materials. Okay, which physical properties have the shiny nature and very hard? That one is the metals. Okay, that iron shows the shiny nature and this is the hard, this is called the metal. And shiny and hardness, this is the physical property. These are the physical properties of the metals and metals. Okay, and coal has the dull nature and very hard. This is the non-metal. This is the non-metal. It means this is the physical properties of the non-metals. It means dull and very not very hard. This is the physical properties of the non-metals. And sulfur, this is also one of the material. This material shows the dull nature. This is also one of the non-metal. This is the another one non-metals. Aluminium, it shows the shiny nature and very hard. This is also metal. Okay, this is also metal. You know, this metal shows the shiny nature and hardness. Okay, that non-metal shows the dull or not very hard. This is not very hard compared to the metals. It means metals are very hard. Metals are shiny nature. Shiny is nothing but the luster. It means this is the properties of the physical properties of the metals. That one, luster and hardness. Okay. Observe, these are the properties of the materials. You know, on the on the basis of the physical properties and chemical properties, we can divide it into metals and non-metals. Okay, that physical properties. What is the meaning of the physical properties? Physical properties means it has the some properties, shape, size, color. These are the properties of the physical. These are the physical properties. Okay, luster and hardness, these are already metal properties, metal physical properties, and so many types of the physical properties shows the metals and non-metals. Okay, that first one physical properties of the metals and non-metals, that is the malleability. You know, we can use the different kinds of the metal materials. Okay, like a spade, shovel and axe. These are the these materials are used in agricultural field. That spade, shovel, axe, these materials are made by the some of the metals. Okay, like a iron. Okay, these spade, shovel, axe are made by the blacksmith. How can that blacksmith how can made these materials? Yes, on this blacksmith are beating on the iron. When blacksmith are beating on the iron, it turn to different shapes. You know, iron is turned to different shape. This is the one of the properties. You know, some metals are turned into different shape when on beating on the surface of the metal, surface of the some materials, that convert into different shape. That is the metals. Okay, observe, malleability means the properties of metal by which can be make into thin sheets. Thin sheets called the metals. You know, that properties of the metal by which can make into thin sheet, beaten into thin sheet. When that beaten on the surface of the metal, that make into thin sheet, that is called the malleability. Malleability means that metals are turned into materials are turned into thin sheets. That is called the malleability. Okay, these so malleability, we can in the uses of malleability also is there, that aluminum wires and that aluminum foils, not only make iron foil, that we are make aluminum foil also, copper foil also. We can use copper foil, aluminum foil are used to wrap on the food items. Okay, that is the aluminum foil. Foil means that this thin sheet, that iron, that big iron, that piece of iron is turned into thin sheet on the beaten, that is called the metals. Which materials can easily beaten and make into thin sheet, that is called the metals. Okay, iron materials are, when we beaten, these iron metals are turned into tin sheet, this is called the metal. Coal, when we beaten on the coal material, coal objects, that is not turned into tin sheet, because this is the non-metal. Okay, aluminum, copper, these are the metals, because they can make into thin sheet. Okay, this is the one properties. Malleability is a one properties of the physical properties of the metals and non-metal. Physical properties of the metal and non-metal, that is the ductility. Already we learnt one of the physical properties of the metal and non-metal, that is the malleability. It means that materials are made into thin sheet, that is the malleability properties. Next one, ductility. Some materials, that we uses different utensils in our home, that cooking utensils and so many utensils also uses in our home. Observe, in cooking utensils, most of the cooking utensils are made by some materials. Observe, that cooking pan, handles is made by different materials, and pan is made by the different materials. You can touch the pan, we feel the hot, we are hot feel, we are getting hot feel, but that handles of the pan, you touch the handles of the pan, that you cannot get any hot feelness. Observe, it means that materials, the pan is made by the one type of the materials, like that is the metals. That handle of the pan, that is made by the non-metals. It means it shows the, observe, that pan, it conduct the hot, it conduct the heat and electricity. It means that metals are conduct the heat and electricity. It means metals are good conductor of heat and electricity. Electricity and heat is easily flow through the metal material surface. It means this is the good conductor of the electricity and good conductor of the heat, because we are used to make the preparation of wire, that is the we are used as the wire that helpful to electricity easily flow on through the wire. Okay, that wire is made by the copper is the one of the metal. It means that metals are good conductor of electricity. Observe this good conductor of heat and electricity. It means that copper, observe that copper shape, structure, another color. Observe that copper, copper wires are, observe that which materials are that the properties of the metal by the which can drawn into thin wire, that is called the ductility. What is ductility? Ductility means that properties of the metals by the which can drawn into wires, that is called the ductility. Ductility means drawn into wires. Okay, this is the one physical properties of the metals which can drawn which cannot drawn easily, that is the non-metals. Okay, that coal is not drawn easily, but this cannot be drawn into thin wires. Coal is cannot be drawn into thin wires. That is the non-metals. Okay, some non-metals and metals, both materials also present in our surrounds. Okay, the next properties of the metals and non-metal, physical properties of metal and non-metal, that is the sonorous. Sonorous, we can use as different materials in our surrounds. That materials are produces the sounds. Okay, for example, metal coin, we use the metal coins, we throw the metal coins, that produces the sound. We can throw the iron rod, that is also produces the sound. And so many materials, we can throw the wood piece of wood, that is not produces the sound. Some materials are produces the sound, some materials are not produces the sound. Which materials are produces the sound, that materials we can call it as the sonorous. It means that materials are the metals. For example, that coin is made by the aluminum, made by the iron. That material, that is the metals. That produces the sound. It means it produces the sound. Metals are produces the ringing sound. This ringing sound, which materials are produces the ringing sound, that is called the sonorous. Sonorous, this is one of the physical properties of the metals. And some metals are not shows the sonorous. For example, wooden piece, we can throw the wooden piece, that is not produces the ringing sound. Just only that is also produces the different sound, but that not produces the ringing sound. Which materials are produces the ringing sound? That is the metals, which that is the sonorous. This is one of the characters. This is the properties. It means so many that metals are shows the so many characters, so many physical characters. That was first one is it shows the hardness and lustrous. Lustrous means shiny. That which metals have shiny, that is the metals. And malleable, we can make into a thin sheet by beaten. That is the malleable. This is also one of the physical character. Next one, ductile. We can drawn into thin wire, drawn into wires. Which materials are drawn into wires? That is called the metals. And sonorous, already I told that this produces the materials are produces the ringing sound. Which materials are produces the ringing sound? That is called the metals. And the last one is this is the good conductor of heat and electricity. These are the physical properties of the metals and metals. And do not shows the which materials are not hard, that is the non-metals. And lustrous, do not shine, dull nature. Which metals are shows the dull nature, that is the non-metals. And malleability, okay? Which metals are cannot be drawn, it cannot be make into sheet, that is also non-metals. And ductile, which materials are cannot be drawn into thin wires, that is also non-metals. And sonorous, which materials are not produces the ringing sound, that is the sonorous. And is not conduct the heat and electricity, that is the non-metals. Wood and different types of the materials also present in the non-metals. For example, coal is not produces is not conduct the heat and electricity, because we cannot you cannot use it for making wires. Okay. And wood is also, dry wood is not conduct the heat and electricity. This is also one of the non-metals. And so many non-metals also is there in our surrounds. Okay, that iron, aluminium, copper, so and aluminum, so many types of the metals materials are present in our surrounds. Okay, these are the properties, physical properties of the metals and non-metals. You know, these materials are shows by the which materials, that is the metals. These characters are not shows by the which materials, that is the non-metals. Okay, this is the physical properties of the metals and non-metals. Next class we will learn about the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals. Okay, thank you.